Have you ever ignored someone for years because you knew they weren't for you? And then one day you gave them a chance thinking that maybe I've been wrong about this person. That's what happened to me. This man kept on pursuing me for many years and I kept on saying no. Until finally one day I said yes, and looking back, I really, really wish I stuck with my first instinct. How I acted and reacted when I found out my ex was cheating on me. Now, before we get into the time when we finally became a couple, when I finally said yes, let me take you back to a few years when I just, started to know this guy. Before I completed my high school in 2011, I used to see this guy in my church. We used to go to the same church, and this guy was so committed, so was his family. With time, I got to know that he had brothers, and his brothers were equally committed. Nothing ever popped in my head like, can I be friends with this guy because he was way older than me? As we go to the story, when him and I started dating, I found out that he was 10 years older than me. So by the time I completed my high school in 2011, I was 17 and he was 27, meaning he was an already grown up man. He was already fully matured. I said nothing popped up in my head about me trying to befriend this guy or me thinking like, should I date him? Because at the time I wasn't even thinking of dating people. I'm saying so because I used to make friends at my church. I had guy friends at my church and I preferred making guy friends to girlfriends. So it never crossed my mind like, can I befriend this guy? Because to me he was an already grown up man. Like, he was way older than me. My sister became friends with some girl who I later found out was actually engaged to this man. And I was like, oh, okay. Nothing clicked in my head because I didn't know the dude. I received a text message and this person is like, how are you? And those days I was so rude. Nowadays, if I don't know you, I'll be like, may I know who I'm speaking to? But those days I was so rude. I would go like, who the hell am I speaking to? And this person was like, I'm gonna give him a fake name. This person was like, you're speaking to Mike. And I was like, Mike from where? And he was like, Mike from your church. And I was so shocked. And I called this person Brother Mike because I knew this person was way older than me. I called him Brother Mike. I was like, oh, Brother Mike. I don't really remember what he started talking about, but he was talking about weird things as days went by. And I asked him where he got my number from, and he was like, I got it from our church. It wasn't like our church had a list of contact numbers. I knew this person got it from one of my male friends from church. This man started talking about weird things that I didn't think he would talk about, because people from my church at that time I used to think were perfect angels, and I was like, why would someone say something like that? So I started ignoring him. Not until when we had a church gathering and Brother Mike started calling me like secretly, like when someone is giving you signals that like, psst, calm, like someone is whispering in a very weird way, and they're like, come, like, come get some candy, girl, come get some candy, kid. And then I told one of my male friends at that church, and I was like, look at how weird that old man is behaving. And my male friend was laughing, and he was just laughing anyway. From then I started ignoring this man, not until one day when he drove to my home. Shamelessly, he wasn't even scared of my guardian, because my guardian was scary. Everybody used to be scared of my guardian. He drove to our home and he brought me chocolates. And after the chocolates, this man started saying weird things to me, and I told my sister because I knew her friend was engaged to him. I was like, this guy is saying this and he actually brought me this. And my sister was like, stop entertaining him. And I was like, I'm not entertaining him, dude, is just following me. After some time, this man and my sister's friend, I heard they broke up, the wedding was off, and after that this man was on me. And at some point I even started thinking like, was I the reason why they broke up? But why would I be the reason? Why would it be me breaking them up when I actually didn't even date this man and I didn't even actually entertain him? Now, when all this weird stuff was happening, that was 2012, when I was 18 years old, meaning this man was 28 years old, fully grown. He got the power. He can manipulate you, he can make you do things. I'm not saying I was manipulated into doing anything, but yes, I'm saying so because I was young and I was naive. In spite of me having my own will, also I was going through so much and I didn't have like anybody in my corner. And at some point I started accepting this man's gifts. Because let's fast forward to 2016. At this point, this man had known me inside out and anything about me. He knew everything about me. And at this point I was thinking, this man is my savior. Honestly, like, he saved me from some tough situations, which I was grateful for. And I thought he was acting in this way because, remember, I told you people from my church, I always thought they were perfect angels, and I thought this is why he was acting this way. But I only got to find out that he was doing these deeds for something in return which I couldn't give him. And at some point when I couldn't give him what he wanted, this person chucked me out of their life. Before I found work, if you watched my video where I said I got hired as a girlfriend, you go watch that one. This dude proposed because he knew what I was going through and that I had nowhere to go because I had moved away. Let me not even say I moved away from my home. I ran away from my home. This dude knew that if he gave me a certain offer, I wouldn't refuse because I had nothing and I had nowhere to go. Oh my God. Whilst all this was happening, I was praying to God. Honestly, I was like, God, please help me find a job so that I can stop doing these things that I'm doing, because I know what I'm doing is wrong. Help me find a job. And God does answer prayers. 2018, I got my first job in July. And when this person found out I found a job, they chucked me out of their life again. And this was a routine. This person liked chucking me out of their life and bringing me back, like with manipulation, with persuasions, just flashing things in front of me because they knew like she's not gonna turn it down because she got nobody and she got nowhere to go. This person kept on proposing that we become an item, but I didn't want to, because the first red flag that I saw is when he was engaged to my sister's friend and he was pursuing me. So I knew that this person is trouble. If I had to date this person, they would do the same thing that they did to my sister's friend. They would do it to me. Secondly, when this person kept on forcing me to be with them and pursuing me, each time I threw a friend at them, because that's what I started doing just to get them off my back. I would give them my friend. I would hook them up with my friend. This person never refused. I feel like if a man is serious about you, he's going to tell you like, girl, you're the one I want, why are you giving me your friend? He would even actually get upset, like, do you really take me for a fool? Like, I want you and you're bringing me your friend? But this guy, he would gladly receive my friends with 2 hands and 2 legs. I think I remember giving him 3 of my friends. Pay attention, because the third person who I'll mention that I hooked him up with will be important at the end of this story. So I gave them one who was my colleague. The other one was my auntie-in-law. Like, she's actually my auntie-in-law. And the other one was just some mate. She wasn't even a mate anyway. She was just some girl who I knew at my university. Now, pay attention to the girl I've mentioned from my university, okay? Let's now leave out all the manipulation, the gift giving, the forcing me to be his girlfriend, the forcing, the force saving me, the superhero act just so he could pull me in and make me do things that I didn't want to do. Let's leave that behind and fast forward to the time when I finally said, yes, I'll be your girlfriend. First, he asked me out in 2021. That was the 31st of December. I remember very well. He was like, can you be my girlfriend? And I was like, this dude, like, you are the definition of red flags. So I told him to say, dude, I can't be your girlfriend and I don't feel the same way about you. Honestly, we women, even if we don't feel, the same way about you, we would give you a chance if we see that you're very serious, you have good intentions. Even if we don't feel anything for you, we would give you a chance, and as we get to know you, we would actually even fall in love. But the thing that was really stopping me from seeing this man is his acts, his actions, his behavior, the type of person he was, the type of person I got to know. He was a manipulator. I feel like he was a narcissist. I feel like he wasn't okay in the head. I feel like he liked, like preying on very young girls who are like way younger than him, so that he could have power over them. He asked me out in 2021, 31st December. Actually, before that, the same month, December 2021, he was telling me that the mate that I hooked him up with from my university was asking to come and visit him. And I was thinking, like, why would you give me such information? Like, you guys were hooking up all these years, like, why bring this to my attention? And he was like, I'm turning her down because it's you that I want to be with. Like, seriously, I want to date you as my partner. I present this to my colleagues and my friends, and my friends and my colleagues already knew about this man, and they were always pushing me to date him. Like, he's a good guy, you wouldn't know what you would miss out on. So now this is from 31st December, and when I said yes, finally, I think it was in March. When I finally said yes to this man, I think it was in March 2022, if I'm not mistaken, and we started dating as an item. Long story short, this relationship didn't work out because this man always wanted me to put him first before myself and my own well-being. I would always complain to him to say my work is so stressful. Times when he would want to see me, I would tell him that I want to rest, I'm so stressed, like mentally. I would tell him my work is so stressful, and he would always complain, like, you don't even want to talk to me, you don't want to hang out with me, and it was just stressing me. So I tell this dude to say, you know what, if I'm not giving you what you want, because I felt like he wanted me to put his needs before my own, like I abandon everything and I give him what he wants. So I told him to say, you know what, if I am not fulfilling what you want, then let's break up. Like, I don't want to stress you, neither do I want you stressing me. You know how it is when your partner complains about something. You'd be so concerned. You'd be like, oh my God, babe, what's wrong? What can I do to make you feel better? What's causing your stress? What's causing your depression? But then the whole entire time when I was involved with this man, from the time he started pursuing me, when he just wanted things from me, and when he claimed he wanted me to be his partner, I had a very tough childhood, and each time when I presented something to him, he was never ever concerned. So this time when I was complaining to say my work is stressing me, I can't see you right now because I'm stressed and I want to rest. And at that time I only used to have Sundays off. I used to work on Saturdays. So you can imagine someone wants to see you on that one day off from work. So this person instead wouldn't get concerned, but their main concern would be that you're not giving them, like what they want, and they would actually make you think like you're doing something wrong, which is why I'm saying this person was a narcissist. They would gaslight you into thinking that you just don't want to see them, you don't want to make time for them, like making you feel like a bad person, like you don't want to give them time, you don't want to see them, they really want to see you. You get what I mean? Normally when we women break up with a man, or it's a mutual understanding, or a man breaks up with you, we don't move on, like there and then, and we start seeing other people. But this is what this dude did. So there I was single, I wasn't seeing anybody, and he was already seeing people. And whilst dating, by the way, I wanted to see if he had really changed, because remember when I said I used to hook him up with my friends, I hooked him up with another friend, and that day he blew me off and he was like, there's some work that has come up, so I can't manage to see you today. And my friend actually told me to say, Besh, I'm actually going out with him on a date, that's why he's blowing you off. Like, we're trying to test him. Testing a man is not a damn idea, okay? Neither is it, like pushing someone into doing something. Because if you're that type of a person who's not gonna do something because you respect someone and you're self-disciplined and you're well-disciplined, you would turn it down. You say, no, I have a girl or I have a man, so I can't go out with you. But he would always give in. Each time I would give him my friends. So at this point I hooked him up with four of my people. I was honestly having a tough time stress at work. If you haven't watched why I quit my job in 2022, please go to my channel and watch. So after I quit my work in 2022, that very year when I accepted to date him, he kept on coming back after we were counting that we broke up, because I told him to say I'm quitting my job. And dude goes like, I feel like that's a good idea, you should. And if you do, like, can we go together to this country? I'm not gonna mention the country, but it's abroad, but it's in Africa. Like, can we go to this country as my partner, like as his partner, like him and I getting married? Keep that in mind. I couldn't just say yes to that partner part, because like I told you guys, this guy was the definition of red flag. And imagine getting married to such a person. I consulted from my friends and my colleagues, and they kept on pushing me like, dude, you don't know the opportunity you're missing. But I knew this guy. My hand hurts, guys. There's no good lighting, so I'm standing up and I'm holding my phone up. Oh my god. And they're all telling me, just go for it. And I'm like, you people don't know this guy. I feel like when you tell someone something and they feel like you're the one who's diabolical and you're not seeing, like the opportunity, like you know nothing, dude. And they keep on pushing you like, no, you should do this. I feel like if someone doesn't really know like what's on the ground, then they wouldn't understand you, and they would just keep on pushing you, like my friends and colleagues were pushing me to date this man. I got quiet and I didn't give this man any response on relocating with him to that other country as his partner. And then after some time, honestly, like when I quit my job, I didn't envision that my life would become the way it became. I thought I would find work immediately after I quit, but I didn't. So I started having some difficulties financially, and I had informed him that I was, and I only did so because I was picturing this person as my partner, someone who I once dated. So I thought he would understand and he would come to my rescue, you get? So I informed him, and he did come to my rescue, but only for the wrong reasons. And whilst coming to my rescue, when he came to my rescue, actually I thought, okay, we've made up. And it's not something that I just made up in my head. We actually had a discussion, and I told him I'm sorry, like, for leaving you. And I made it known to him that I'm not only coming back because of my financial situation. I made it known to him to say, I'm not coming back to you because of my financial situation, but yes, I do need you as my partner, like, to help me out of this situation. But I'm not coming back. I believe, like, you and I, like, if we just got serious and if we understood each other, we would really, like, become an item. And I started taking this person, like, my partner. And I told myself I'm gonna change him, because at that time I knew he was already seeing my friend, one of the new friends I introduced to him. So I told myself I'm gonna change this man, and he's just gonna stick with me. Before I fast forward this story, let's rewind a bit. I forgot to mention something. So whilst we were dating in those few weeks, I actually went through his phone because I wanted to see, like, is he really serious about me? Like, has he abandoned those women he was seeing? Because I knew he was a ladies' man, even though he always used to, like, deny it. I went through his phone and he was still seeing those women. And that's something, again, that made me, like, it just made me, like, lose interest, and it turned me off. So I was like, should I really continue being serious with this dude? Fast forward, we go back and we were dating and everything was good, but at the back of my mind I knew he was still seeing other people, because at times I would still check his phone and he was still seeing other people the very same day when he's from seeing me, or the previous night. Oh, my goodness, he was seeing other people. But I had to stay because, again, I was back to the 2016 kind of life. I didn't have anywhere to go. I didn't have anybody to go to. I didn't have anyone to help me. I couldn't find a damn job. I had no choice but to stay. As we were dating, and also me trying to, like, find a job and get myself back on my feet, this dude became horrible to me. I'm not gonna say much, but he became horrible to me. Like, he would see other women, the way he was treating me, the way he was responding to me, and I was like, at this point I'm just a piece of shit, and I should really, really, like, find a job and save myself and not remain this piece of shit that I'm being made into. Let me give you an example of a time when I called him and he answered me this way. What do you want? What do you want? Now at this point I already knew this man was cheating. Even the time when we were dating, even the times when he was pursuing me, he was a ladies man. I already knew it. It wasn't shocking to me. Like when I now wanted to seriously take this relationship as, you know, like, okay, we are in a serious relationship. I tried to change this man. I opened up to him. I told him, I know you're seeing other people. Can you leave them? If you do, I'll forgive you. Nothing. Now let us fast forward to how I acted and reacted, because there's so much to this story that I don't want to make it a long story, but I have summarized it in that way. I'll summarize it to say this man liked, you know, like preying on people that were way younger than him, people that are vulnerable, people that would depend on him. He wanted to have power over you. He wanted to manipulate you. He would always paint you as the bad person. He painted all of us, because at the end of this video, I'm going to tell you that I called all the people he was seeing, and he was saying to all of us, he was saying bad things. Like he would say bad things to me about this one. He would say bad things to this one about me. It was something I had already known. It wasn't like I found out after some time and I was like, yo, you're cheating on me. So I already knew, and I had to stay calm at this point, and I had to be strategic, because I was like, if I leave, at that point I didn't find a job. I was like, if I leave, I'll have nowhere to go. Can I please just like find something, then I can leave this person? So that's how I acted and reacted. I stayed in that relationship. Sometimes I would pretend like I didn't know nothing. Sometimes I would open up and tell him, leave them, I'll forgive you. But he didn't. Now, the day when I finally like told myself, girl, you don't deserve this, and I left this guy, it was when I was 2 months at a new job that I had found. Although this new job wasn't even paying that much, my previous job was paying more than this new job, meaning I still needed him because the money wasn't enough. I could only, like, you know, pay rentals. If it's not the rentals, then I could only manage to get groceries, and that's it. And I needed groceries, or I needed to pay rentals, and I needed transport to work. So that day I was at work, and I dreamt about that mate from my university that I hooked him up with. Anyways, when I narrated this dream to her, and she asked me, who is this boyfriend? Mike. And this girl flips, and she's like, what do you mean? Like, you're not okay in the head? Like, how do you introduce me to a guy you knew that you would have feelings for? What has changed now? What? So I dreamt about this girl. I narrate the dream to her, and she's like, you're just making up things because you wanna attack me, or you just want to find out if I'm really seeing Mike. Genuinely, I dreamt about this girl, and I just wanted to narrate the dream to her. And I thought they were in the past, because at the time my boyfriend Mike was telling me that she's in my past. I don't even talk to her. I don't even have her number. I don't even remember the last time we talked. I think she's married. Isn't she even married? Like, he just said he wasn't in contact with this girl. So me narrating this dream to her, it's because I knew they were in each other's past, and I knew she wouldn't react the way she did or get upset. But she did get upset, and she said some really, really mean things to me. Yeah. I only narrated this dream to this girl because we never ever managed like to get along in university. But after university, we started getting a little bit along, and we actually like wanted to work on a friendship. I don't know if it was just pretense from her side, but it wasn't from my side. Like, I really wanted it to work because I felt like her and I had so much in common, like in a fun way. Yes, like we liked the same taste of music, we both used to dance, we could both sing and all that. I opened up to her because I was counting her as sort of like my mate, and I thought she would understand me. And I thought actually she would laugh about it and tell me to say, what, girl, he's been lying to you, like he's still seeing me. but she actually overreacted and she was upset and she said mean things and she was like, girl, this guy will always find better. Like if you feel like you're better than others, he'll always find better. And I was like, why is she saying all this nonsense? Because I'm not even interested, like in this guy. Like I'm not here to fight for this guy. I was just like narrating a dream to her, which ended up like disclosing things I wasn't even aware about, because this dude told me that he wasn't seeing her. Like the last time when they broke up is the last time he talks to her. He wasn't talking to her. And then here was now some new information coming up. And I was like, oh, this is what's going on. Like I wasn't even, like she overreacted, which shocked me because I wasn't even interested in the dude at this time. And I wasn't there like to fight for him. Hey, the girl overreacted. Like he always find better. And in my head I was like, girl, I'm not interested in the dude. Like even if he wants another woman, it's not something that would affect me to a point that I would be like flipping out like, hey, what. It shows me that the information that she now found out about Mike and I like got to her, and she was taking the dude seriously or something. Because why would you react that way if you know that this man is a piece of shit? Why should you overreact if you know this man is a piece of shit? Because I'm saying so because when I talked to the other women that he was seeing, like they didn't overreact the way she did. They were just surprised and we laughed about it, and they were like, oh, this dude is, some piece of shit. But she overreacted and she took it so personally, which shows something that, okay, girl was, like expecting maybe something serious from this guy. I feel like this girl was pretending, because the times when she saw statuses of me and him on my status, she says I used to ask him and he would say he's not dating you. Because the statuses that we used to post, they were all lovey-dovey and couple lovey-dovey kind of statuses. And then she came back to me and she's like, he told me you're not dating. So this girl was just in denial. And then when I actually opened up to her, she misunderstood it and thought I was attacking her and I was confronting her, which I wasn't. See this God. This dream saved me. I don't believe in dreams, but sometimes I do dream about things and they come to life. So this dream was meant for me and not for her. It was something that actually helped me because it disclosed some information that I wasn't aware about. So this girl goes like, he told me that the statuses I was seeing was nothing. It was just social media, and you guys like you're not an item. But girl, you're able to see the statuses. Like you saw the content in those videos. Obviously, you would tell to say something is going on here. But I feel like this girl was just in denial. If it's not being in denial, then this girl was just thinking I was confronting her, which I wasn't. So she was trying to be defensive. It came as a shock to me, this girl's reaction and the main thing she said to me, because I actually didn't know that they were still seeing each other, and she disclosed to say they're still seeing each other. And he actually booked her a flight to go see him. A flight. I feel like this dream actually saved me. This dream was meant for me because I randomly just dreamed about her. And when I narrated this dream to her, she actually just disclosed everything to me, which saved me. Because at this point, remember I was telling you, my plans was to leave only when I found like a stable job. But at this point, even though I wasn't earning much, I told myself I have to leave. I don't care how I'm gonna survive, but I don't deserve this treatment, this embarrassment. The girl goes on to say, actually, your boyfriend always tells me that you two are not dating, because when I see statuses of you two, he tells me you are not dating. Like you two are just family friends. He always denies it. He says it's just social media. I tell this girl that let me call him and let me prove it to you. And on that call, I was only saying certain things like to keep him on the call, because I knew if I actually said what I wanted to say, he would hang up. So I was just saying, like the right things to keep him on the call. And after this call, I sent the recording to this girl, and she also called him and sent a recording to me. Also on this call with this man, he was more interested as to why I approached my mate from the university. Like, are you sure she moved on? Why would you tell her something like that? Are you sure she moved on because I'm her ex? And I'm like, in my mind, that's what I'm saying. If I said what I really wanted to say, he was gonna hang up. But in my mind, I was like, how is he not concerned about me, and he's concerned about me approaching this girl, and he's upset about me approaching this girl, and not concerned about our relationship? Long story short, I also like reached out to his other girl that he was seeing. It's like at this point she was the main girl, whilst the rest of us were just side pieces that he needed, when his girl is not able to give him what he needed. I reached out to this girl just to draw out some information from her and to understand. I actually found out that actually at the time when he was asking to date me, he was already dating this girl. So now, who in the normal sense would ask to date another woman when they're already dating someone else? This girl disclosed so much to me. She actually told me so much. Like, she told me very weird, freaky things that I didn't think this man would involve himself into. And I now understood, and it added up to say, this is why this person is this way. It's like the times when he was with me, he wore a different mask. He was a two-faced person. Let's not even say two-faced. At this point, this man was just a shapeshifter. He was not two-faced, he was a shapeshifter. It's like he was this person when he's with this woman, he was this person when he's with me, he was another person when he's with another person. This girl disclosed so much to me. She actually even talked about my sister's friend. Remember my sister's friend who he was engaged to? She told me actually that this man, he always tells me that he can't marry me because I don't go to his church, and I've never been to school, and I'm not a good girl. And he always tells me about his ex, saying actually him and his ex might get back because his ex's family, meaning my sister's friend, the one who he was engaged to, her family always goes to Mike's family to beg for him back. There is so much to this story, but I feel like I've summarized it the best way I could, and I have exhausted like the most important points that you would pick out from this story, something that you would learn and look out for. I never ever wanted to tell this story ever, because one of his exes actually opened up my mind when she said she went through the darkest times of her life, and that also like opened up my mind, because I'm the type of person who likes to see the good in others, and at the time I didn't really see it, like the darkness, the dark side or whatever it was, because that wasn't normal. And I was like, yeah, I surely did go through the darkest time of my life too, like when I processed everything. In conclusion, I feel like I should have stuck with my first instinct, because as women we have very strong intuition, and once you tell yourself to say this person is not good for me, they're really not good for you. Never ever listen to anybody. Like, I listen to my friends and colleagues. I'm not saying they're the ones who pushed me into dating him. I feel like it was just me. I thought maybe it's just me who's not giving him a chance. Maybe let me give him a chance and see like what he has out there for me. The importance of me telling this story is not because I'm angry about something, or I haven't healed, or I'm trying to embarrass somebody. The importance of me telling these stories that I tell, this one being one of them, even though I didn't ever want to narrate this story, is because I just want to put it out there for someone who might learn one or two things from my stories. And I also just want to exhaust all my ex stories, like I said in the beginning, because I'll be getting married soon, and I just wanted to tell this story so that I don't get tempted to tell it at a later time when I'm in a way better place, because right now I'm in a good place, and then when I'm in a way better place. And I haven't just wanted to narrate this story because it's still very fresh in my head. Not that it's hurting me or I haven't healed. No, I've healed. I've healed, yes. I have moved on. I forgot about everything, but it's still very fresh. Like everything is just so fresh. Like it makes me angry, it haunts me, it just gets me angry, honestly. And when this guy got exposed about a lot of things, like I told you, saying he likes painting other people to be bad people, he started saying bad things about me. Like, no, she's only doing that because she's a bitter ex. Like he said it to one of his girlfriends. And then some other girl who I actually like knew a little bit, he said to tell her, no, that girl just has a problem because she doesn't have a family. Like, how does that make sense? Like, how does that make sense? Honestly, I don't have a family, so I have a problem. The girl doesn't have a family, so she doesn't get along with everyone. How does that make sense? Doesn't make sense. We will leave it at that. How I reacted and acted when I found out my ex was cheating. I'm not the type who would confront someone and say, why are you seeing my guy? I'm not dramatic. I'm a logical thinker. So when I find out something like that, I'm not gonna confront anyone. I'm not gonna approach anyone. I'm just gonna find ways to save myself and move on. And that's what I did. I told myself, even if this job is not a well-paying job, let me leave this guy. Like, God, can you see what I'm going through? Please help me out of this situation. That's how I acted and reacted. Of course, my emotions were all over the place. I was spiraling, but my main interest was just to save myself and get myself out of that situation and get myself far away from this person and never ever bring them into my life again. Trust me, I've told so many ex-boyfriend stories, and to me they were just funny, but this one I never ever wanted to narrate because it just brings so much bitterness in my heart, and I feel so angry telling this story because just thinking about it, I'm just like, God, it's not something I like to think about, honestly. And sometimes people get judgmental and they would say things like, why do you put yourself in these situations? Why do you make such decisions? One thing you should know is that we have grown up differently. While some of you have everything and everybody, others don't. Others don't have anybody, others don't have everything. And life is so tough. And this world is not an easy world to live in. Sometimes you have no choice but to do certain things to save yourself. And this world is so hard to live in, so do not judge people when they make certain decisions or if they find themselves in situations like you normally say, like, why do you always put yourself in these situations? Like, dude, you have never been in a tough situation for you to know why someone is always found in tough situations. So let's not judge, because one day when things flip for you and you start making decisions you never even thought you would, then you would understand why people get themselves in those situations you're saying they do. What I learned from this situation that I can tell you about is that trust your instincts. If you feel something is off, it's off, because I felt it from the very start, even before I finally said yes to this man. If you follow my story from when we were church mates and I just knew him as that guy who I go to the same church with, until the time when he started getting weird. This world is so big, it's not everybody you should date, and it's not that this is the only person in the world and you're like, maybe if I don't give this one a chance, then I'll never have a partner in my life. Wait, because at that time I was so young. Wait, just wait, and wait for the right time for the right person to present themselves, because you end up indulging in the wrong things and with the wrong people, and you end up being in the worst situations ever. And people don't care about other people but themselves. Sometimes people that have good hearts think everybody has a good heart, but people are greedy. They always put themselves first and they won't care about you. So whilst you're putting their needs first and not yours, at the end of the day, they'll still paint you as a bad person. They'll tell others you're not a good person. They'll tell others it was all your fault. It's a lot, guys, but thank you so much for watching.